Hey everyone, welcome back. It's me, Zach, and I'm here to watch Survivor 41. Look, full disclosure, right away, right again. Yet again. I did get this spoiled. I'm so pissed about it. Because I have no one to blame but myself, ultimately. Like, I've had a lot going on. I've been working late hours and stuff, but what the fuck is going on? But ultimately, it comes down to me just not watching the episode soon enough, and then me being stupid on social media. So basically, what happened is, my initial plan when I started doing these was to get them recorded the next day, like, boom, Thursday, because I'm not able to watch it live and do this. Thursday, as soon as possible, I record my reaction to it, and then I try to get that out by Friday. But then it ended up getting pushed back to Sunday as my regular thing, just because it wasn't realistic for me to have such a quick turnaround on this. But then with the Sunday being a Sunday video, I ended up like not watching it for a few days, and that became my norm. So first I got spoiled something about an idol, some sort of idol steal attempt, some sort of fake idol. Like, I got that spoiled. If that wasn't worth enough, then I go on. This is so stupid because it was so avoidable too. I went on Instagram and I keep doing this thing where I'll click through the stories and I forget that after a certain amount of days, Survivor does an Instagram story where they like ask questions to the most recent person voted out. I wish there was some way for me to interpret it differently, but I saw it was a split second before I realized it. I was just scrolling through and then boom, I see Sydney's sexy ass answering a question. Is there any other way? Is there any way it could be Sydney on the Instagram story, but her not being voted out? I can't think of a way. There's no way. Because they only show people that have been voted out on there. And that's so disappointing because Sydney is far from the person I would expect to be voted out. Fuck. But that's my L that I'm going to have to hold. Unfortunately, this video suffers an L from that as well, because you don't get my fresh reaction to it. Fuck, kabaka. So, I also wanted to mention from the last episode that at the time, my initial reaction, I didn't have that much of an opinion on the twist. I was like, it was hit or miss for me. The episode was like, eh. But the more time I had to reflect on it, I'm like, I really don't like the idea of the twist. I don't like the principle of the twist, and I don't like the episode, really, how it was handled. Because it does make it so winning a challenge meant nothing. And if you can do that, then it's like almost anything means nothing. Because it's like, I could get an advantage, it could be stolen from me. I could get an idol, it could be nullified. I could win a challenge, but not really win a challenge, so I might as well not celebrate when I win a challenge now, because you never know what's going to happen. And the fact that they gave it to Erica, who was clearly on the bottom of the tribe anyway, it's like that classic thing of they want to give the person on the bottom a chance or whatever, but this is like too much. And when I was first watching, I commented this, but when I first watched, I didn't catch the part, because I was so tired, I didn't catch the part that she would be safe if she smashes the hourglass. So of course she's going to do that. She's on the bottom. She's out here for 2 nights. You put her out there for 2 nights, so you knew damn well there was no way she was making any other decision but to smash that thing. Like, you got to make it at least enticing to go the other option, you know? The default for any Survivor player, anyone put in that situation, is they're going to do the thing. Go silent. You're going to want to play the game. You're going to want to smash a thing with a hammer. You're going to want to do that. That's going to be your default. So for it to be an actual good dilemma, you have to present a good enough option on the flip side. And the only thing that could make her think not to do that is that she has some Luvu members in the other tribe, but on the winning team, but they already were willing to put you in this position. I mean, geez. All right. Anyway, let's get into the episode. Okay, I'm pissed on every level. But I'm hoping it's a good episode. It'll wind up with that conclusion and with some sort of shenanigans going on at Tribal Council, I guess. I'm hoping that makes for a good episode at least. So even though it's spoiled, and I hate spoilers, they're the bane of my existence in general, I pride myself on keeping other people spoiler free. Like, my whole mission with Alec when we're watching through old school Survivor is to keep him spoiler free. And here we are. I'm getting spoiled. I'll mention that now in case you are new. I'm not always this mad because I'm usually not getting it spoiled. I won't. From now on, I will not. I vow to not get it spoiled. I will make it my mission to watch it as soon as humanly possible after it airs, just to avoid this. But if you're new, I've been watching Survivor 41 every week. You go in the link in the description. You can see the highlights of my reaction, and then come back afterwards for the discussion. Do that every week, but I also have been taking my friend Alec through Survivor chronologically from the beginning for the first time ever, and he's completely spoiler free going into a blind. We're on Survivor Palau right now, which is directly coinciding with this season. So me and Alec over there, just me over here. That's it. So click the link and come back afterwards, okay? Thank you. Sydney really just said I'm a sexy boss ass bitch, and I don't even need this game, bro. I got so much work going for me. Yeah. Ugh. Oh my god. Cringe. So much cringe in this episode, and this with me knowing the result. I'm so pissed. I'd be like, I was freaking out at the end there anyway, but I would have been having a panic attack if I didn't know. That's a classic merge vote right there, right? But it's very, very interesting. Now, the first point of cringe came when Erica came back and Jeff told him that them winning that challenge was pointless, basically. And there was a realistic response to that. Danny was realistically or justifiably frustrated with that concept. It's hard for him to cope with the fact that him winning a challenge didn't mean anything. It didn't mean they actually won the thing they played for. Like, Danny's completely right there. He said, what was the reward for that challenge? Feast and immunity. Okay, just making sure. Yeah, that's what we played for. And Deshaun just took the more, I mean, he's a better man than I am, that he was able to take that diplomatic approach to it and be like, this wasn't a thing that we could have expected, basically, but for the people in the future now, you could expect something like this. And whether it's fair or not, not saying it isn't fair, but whether it's fair or not, we have to deal with it. Survivor 41. So that was the first point of cringe. Like, ooh, didn't feel good about that. I mean, still don't feel good about the twist. Unfortunately, we had a super spicy tribal council. So Jeff, after this, is like, oof, that was good stuff, man. We got to do that more often. Let's have every challenge mean nothing. So there's that. And then the second point of cringe. There's a cringe in 3 parts. The second part comes with Liana. Oh, she was so eager. All season long, she's been eager to steal this idol from Xander. She's been so eager. But King Xander, bringing that true king energy, brought his fake idol in hand and played her ass. And he got his comeuppance. And what this random turn of fate here toward Xander, the talk of Yasa the whole time has been the 3 women united against Xander. Man, we can't wait to fool Xander and to take his idol and get this guy out of here. He thinks he can trust us, but little does he know. And suddenly, just like that, Evie and Tiffany are buddy with him, like, and Liana's completely on the outs of that because they don't trust her anymore. And so Deshaun is 100% correct that, like, Evie was not to be trusted and did not have Xander's best in mind when they were on that retreat, that mission, that adventure. She didn't. She was so close to Tiffany and Liana, but in a matter of like seemingly a day or two, it seems like that's shifted entirely to where Evie now is like all on board with Xander and Liana completely on the odds, especially after this. Like, she really set herself apart there. She was in the complete other huddle. Like, It's gone. Now, that doesn't really... You'd think, wow, this is bad for Lyanna, but she's still in the numbers. Like, she's moving with the numbers with how it works out. So she might have, like, basically betrayed all of her Yasa members. But she's got herself in this core 4, and she's got ins with other people over there, it seems. So, So as much as this is a really, like, embarrassing moment for Lyanna, it is still, she still might be in a better position than Xander overall, you know. But Xander, props for that. I mean, great. You get to give yourself a good moment there, and the fact that they went and didn't use the idol as well. That would have been my instinct as well, but from Evie's perspective, that is terrifying. And like when it literally came down to one vote, it's like, wow, okay, Jesus Christ, I almost got voted out even after all that. But it's gonna pay off, I guess, and we'll see what that idol can do down the line. But Xander's gonna have that idol still. Technically, Tiffany has it, but I feel like she's the kind that will give it back right afterwards. They seem to actually be loyal to Xander now. I don't know. It could change tomorrow, but probably will go back to Xander along with his extra vote. And that knowledge is power, that damn godforsaken knowledge is power advantage is flush. Get that shit out of here. Get that out of my game. But Sydney, I thought this shot in the dark is never going to be played. No shot. They're going to keep talking about how it's a potential thing, but it won't happen because you risk your vote. And Sydney made a fatal mistake. That's the third part of the cringe, the final act of cringe for this episode. And that's that she played her shot in the dark, did not vote, and a difference of 1 vote is what sent her home. Now, I have to think. She said it would be different if she hadn't used her shot in the dark, but I don't know exactly where she's getting that from, because it would have been a tie between Sydney and Deshawn. I don't know how she thinks that the Evie votes would somehow go over to Deshawn or somehow in her favor. I don't think that would happen at all. I think Sydney still goes in that position. Still a cringe moment regardless, because you gave up that last chance, and that could have made all the difference if you potentially could have swayed those numbers there. Oh my god. Fantastic episode, honestly. This is good stuff. Like, there was a little quick challenge in the beginning with defeats, and also that's almost like a prologue cringe. Knowing now retroactively, unfortunately I knew in the beginning, but now knowing at the end of the episode that Sydney's the one that went, knowing that she was that close, a little minor foot adjustment close to being safe there too. So many what ifs there. That's crazy. So we have the prologue cringe into the 3-part cringe act. The three act cringe. But that was great stuff. So it was like a tiny little bit of challenge, and the rest was just meaty strategy. I love it. So I think as much as people were hesitant about the advantages and stuff, and I still am about the certain choices they make and certain twists they put in there, I think it's kind of working out exactly how the producers were hoping it would, to where they're using all these advantages in such a way, and they're using them as part of how they're maneuvering things. Unfortunately, people knew about all these things. Lyanna, the fatal error came down to her telling Shan somehow. Shan's her most trusted ally, but she told Shan about the knowledge is power. Shan, who has been an all-star all this season, is the one who single-handedly ruined that for her, because she talked about it right next to Tiffany that one time. So then she had to tell Tiffany, and then Tiffany told Evie, and Evie told Xander. And this is how we ended up here, to where they were able to dupe your ass, because I love Lyanna, I love Shan, but wow, they blew that. They really did. If they just kept it under wraps a little bit more, Evie would have been toast, and it would have been wiping the grin off of Xander's face for sure. But unfortunately, the knowledge is power, and they had all the knowledge about the knowledge is power advantage. Oh my goodness. This has got to be the best episode of the season. That's my first instinct, at least. This feels like we've already come so far from such an UA-centric pre-merge, where it's like so much of the show revolved around Uwa and that tribe dynamic. And now getting the Luvu and the Yasa involved in all this is really cool. And we've got something spicy going here. I think it's great. And as much as Sydney is a sexy individual, I'm glad we kept Deshaun. I love the energy he's bringing, and I think he'll be fun to watch. I feel bad for Sydney. What a fitting end for Sydney almost, in that her last remarks that she made, where she's like, "I'm glad I don't have to be in the jury, so I don't have to see any of these people's faces ever again." Wait, I didn't even get time to process that. She's not on the jury? I'm trying to think. Traditionally, because we were down to 12 at this episode, right? Traditionally, I think in Modern Survivor, 12 is the jury number, right? Because they had gotten to the point in Island of the Idols where they had Jack, part of the jury, who hadn't even merged yet, and he was the first member of the jury. They had stretched the jury that much. But at least if you go to the merge point, I'm pretty sure that in Modern Survivor, they all are just considered part of the jury at that point. So if it's not 12, which would be final 3 and 9 jury members, then it can't be 11. It's got to be 10. It could be 11. Yeah, I guess it could be 11. I was thinking because you can't tie, but with 3 players, it's wonky anyway. So yeah, I guess it could be the jury starts next time. But traditionally, I feel like it's 9. I say traditionally, even though my tradition, my in what I would like, in an ideal Survivor world, is to go probably back to the old school style, final 2 with a jury of 7. But Survivor 41, a lot is in question. But I still feel like we will get the final 4 fire making. I feel like some of that stuff will be here to stay, even though they did say drop the 4, keep the 1. It's a new game. I feel like that kind of stuff we might have to endure still. And probably the same annoying kind of tribal council format, final tribal format. But it'll be interesting to see then. But yeah, I really would have thought Sydney would be part of the jury there. But kind of a fitting end for her that she went out and she was like, you know what, I'm glad. It's so amazing. I've never heard someone talk about themselves so much, talk themselves so much. I honestly love that for her. I love that someone can be that confident and just they know that that they have this energy about them, and they're this presence about them. Even in the beginning of the episode where she's like, it's my self-centeredness. She's fully aware of her self-centeredness too, where she's like, maybe it's just me being self-focused, but where I just think people, naturally they'll want to go after me because I'm me. She literally said that and was completely serious about it. So I almost really admire that. It's almost that it's generally a negative, seems as a negative attribute to be overly confident or braggadocious. So it's vain, I guess you could say. But at a certain point, it's you got it. If you got it and you want to just embrace it, that's cool too. All the power to you. Not a lot of people can do that. There are a lot of people where I'm okay, you got it, bro. You are a sexy individual. I can tell you that for sure. And they will not be no, me, maybe I'm a little cute, but I'm not sexy and I'm not a goddess. I'm not that much of a boss. Sydney, meanwhile, is describes herself as a sexy individual. She's got all this charm. Why wouldn't you want to go after me? Look at how amazing I am. Jeez. And she's dead serious about it. Sydney, what a special person. Glad we had her for the season. We could have gotten more from her, though. I feel like in a weird way, it's cool to see someone like that be so shaken, where she was literally I'm so petrified, I'll do anything at one point. And then she plays her shot in the dark and shoots herself in the dark in the foot that she could have won that challenge with. She shoots herself in the dark in the foot. Wow. Okay. Oof. I'm so sorry to see you go, Sydney. You were one of my team. I thought she was a surefire pre-merge boot, and in a way, she was a pre-merge boot. Unfortunately, her first tribal council, her amazing presence, and it was undeniable. They had to vote her out. She was so pissed though. I wonder if how long she held onto that grudge for. She was like still pissed at everybody. Ugh. But that was beautiful. That was beautiful Survivor, in that like the advantages being weaved into the gameplay in a nice way, to where I think it's the fact that most people knew about the advantages that made it feel better for me, is that it's like not just surprise, like shenanigans happening, votes getting messed up, and then someone gets sent home with 2 votes. It's like almost everyone knew about what we were working with here, and just came to outmaneuvering. And then that did come down to the relationships and how that melded into it. And a little bit of chaos at Tribal Council, a little bit of this walking up and moving around, of course. But ultimately good Survivor. And then to have someone go out with like such an emotional and like reaction, to be like, she's heartbroken that she played the shot in the dark, she should have kept her vote, she's pissed at them, so it's just like anger and frustration coming out. But so that was an excellent Survivor, man. Okay, that's it. Next week, come back for more Survivor, and I'm gonna make damn well sure that I don't get anything spoiled, that way I don't ruin moments like those. Hopefully there's more of those to come this season. Liana, I feel so bad for her. She probably wanted to cry right there, because like she'd been building this up for herself so much, and then she had that whole confessional where she was hyping herself up like, I'm gonna come into my own, I'm gonna be that badass player that can make moves like that, and like and then it's just a moment of shame. Ooh. So you can have this fake though. Ooh. So yeah, that sucks. That's hard to watch, but great stuff. Look, I love most of the players left here, and so I'm excited to see how they maneuver it. I loved a lot of their moments here. I loved Deshaun this episode. I liked what Sydney gave us. Even I liked Danny. I really liked his perspective. He was correct. Nasir, I'm always down to see. I love Shan. I love Liana, even though this wasn't their night necessarily. It was cool seeing the Yasa, though it's so confusing from a narrative perspective, to see Yasa come together in that way against Liana, when so far it was so much about Xander being duped. Maybe that's like an edit misdirect, but it seemed like genuinely, especially from the information she gave to Sean and all that like she was more with Liana and Tiff up until recently. And then Xander got more in the fold again, even though from Xander's perspective, he's always been with them all 100%. They just luckily didn't go to one more tribal council and have to suffer the consequences there. But it comes down to these advantages, and them not telling Evie and Tiff about advantages at certain points, and this is a trust thing. I loved it. I loved this episode. Wow. So come back next week for more. I'm also doing Survivor Palau with Alec every week, right alongside this. If you enjoyed this video, why not go check out our review of Survivor Pearl Islands? If you're an old school Survivor fan, that's, in my opinion, literally the best that old school has to offer. Pearl Islands, excellent stuff. And so, we did reactions to so many Survivor seasons, but check out the full season review of that one as well. All right, so thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, subscribe to our podcast feed, like the video, leave a comment, hit the notification bell, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and like us on Facebook at Tarqaron TWO. All right.